you can kind of see it in the video, like they were trying to get it out,
Yeah, like
and they kept saying she
this.
was holding her breath, and I don't know if like she was actually holding her breath or if this was just because if you, it's really hard to even talk about it, but if you like look at the video.
Yeah, when I came home, I looked at, I know it's okay. Yeah, when I came home, I looked at the video and I told her right away, I was like, you don't want to watch this.
It didn't look like she was holding her breath.
No, she was purple.
Today we're gonna do a video that basically, it's different. First off, it's a different kind of video because we never planned on ever having to do a video like this, but
because it was an interesting situation for us.
It was definitely an interesting situation, but we wanted to dedicate a video specifically to my delivery of Indy because it was
different.
Not at all what we planned. It was
a little terrifying,
a little scary, and just after we edited the second portion of our video, if you haven't watched it, it's basically when we show Indy for the first time. There were so many things that we recognized when we started watching that footage, and in the moment how scary it was for us. So we wanted to kind of like talk about what happened.
Well, in the moment we didn't know what was going on. When we watched the video, we were like,
I mean, we were scared in the moment, but
we didn't know the specifics of the situation. For example, there was a lot of things that were said, and all we were doing was focusing on what was happening. And there's things that we can cut to show you guys, and we were kind of oblivious to the situation.
We're reliving it yet again, but we feel like it's kind of important to share. Just so that everybody knows, I was induced. I actually was induced about a week and a half.
It was 27.
About a week before she was supposed to be born. And the reason that I was induced was because, one, my age, I am 37 years old, and there's a lot of risks, I guess, that come, or complications that can come with going over your due date after you turn a certain age. So this was just something that the doctors...
Geriatric pregnancy isn't a thing. That's just a weird...
It's a horrible name. It's a horrible name.
It's not a thing. We found that out because at first she was like being referred to.
I'm like, oh my God. I said, do I have cobwebs down there?
Exactly. More and more people are having kids later and later. In life. So they can't really...
They had to change it to maternal fetal medicine. So
geriatric medicine.
Yes.
That'd have been pretty
They had to change it. I was induced just for safety reasons. And honestly, the induction process was really not bad. Like, it really wasn't too bad for me. You know, I went in.
At the beginning.
Yeah. It wasn't bad for me. The whole process wasn't. Like, contractions are contractions. They suck. But I had never really experienced real contractions, so I got that experience, which that sounds weird, but when I went in with Remy, I wasn't dilating, so I went right onto Pitocin, and those kind of contractions are really intense. And so I got induced the night before. I went in at 9 p.m. They gave me these 2 little pills. I'll put the name of it up here. Put it in your mouth, and every 4 hours they give it to you, and it's supposed to basically help soften the cervix so that you can open up and have a baby.
They said it was like equivalent to taking a balloon. You know, when you blow up a balloon, you're always squeezing it a little bit, so
it gets stretchier.
Stretchier.
Yes. So,
weird analogy, but
yes. So that's how the induction starts. You take these 2 little things, you put them in your mouth. I basically went through like
they're like tablets,
contractions.
right? They were tablets.
Yeah, little itsy bitsy tablets every 4 hours, and I started having real contractions. And I was contracting a lot. I was actually contracting like every minute, every 2 minutes.
It was every 2 minutes. I was watching the spikes. It was like every 2 to 3 minutes, and then pop down to every 2.5 minutes, and then 2 minutes.
I do know it went to 1 minute because she had to stop me.
It was at 3, 2.5, 2, and then it went down.
I was just contracting really quickly.
Yeah.
But I wasn't dilating. So it was like my cervix was softening very slowly. I was dilating very slowly. So after I did those pills for about 8 hours, I was contracting so quickly that they wanted me to stop contracting so much because your uterus can get exhausted, and then obviously your muscles you still have so much work to do. So they took me off of that. I was off that for a little bit, and then they put me on Pitocin. And when I went on Pitocin, I was on Pitocin for about 3 hours, and I got to like 6 centimeters, and I was just done. I was like not feeling. I was hurting real bad. So then I got the epidural, which you guys saw, and after I got the epidural, it was pretty quick after that, because you know you don't feel much, and they can up the oxytocin so you can start getting your body into gear. And
without even realizing it.
Yeah, and it was
happened.
pretty quick after that. I went from 6 centimeters to 7 centimeters within an hour, and then I went from 7 centimeters to 10 centimeters within another half hour maybe.
Yeah,
something
that's
like
pretty
that.
fast.
So my doctor came in and she's like, "Do you want me to check and see where you're at?" Obviously 10 centimeters. My OB came in and she was like, "We can either push, you don't have to push." I decided I was gonna push because I was ready, and I pushed her out in 3 contractions. And many people don't understand. Actually, a lot of women and doctors are like, "That's insane."
Yeah.
If you don't know what that means, basically contractions, I was having contractions every minute, every 45 seconds. So I pushed her out after 3 contractions.
Yeah,
so
like
it was
10
less
minutes.
than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think she said something
lot
about
happened in
she
that
said
10
something
minutes.
about 8 minutes. She said I was like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So because I pushed her out so quickly, sorry, I don't mean to keep talking.
No, it's fine.
Because I pushed her out so quickly, it was kind of a traumatic event for her, in the sense of, when you give birth to a baby, one of what they do is they do skin. They put her immediately on your chest, and they do not snip the umbilical cord for 30 seconds so that the baby can adjust to life and breathe on their own.
Think
and all
of a
this
goldfish
jazz.
in water. Before you release the goldfish into the tank, you have to put the bag in the water.
Yeah, that's an interesting analogy.
The adjustments, because you're acclimating to the climate
Yes.
and the
Yes.
temperatures and stuff like that.
So
and breathing on your
there
own.
was something she had said to me when I was pushing. She said, when she crowns, "I'm gonna tell you to stop, and I'm gonna tell you to breathe, and I'm gonna tell you to just wait a second." And I was like, okay, didn't think anything of it. And at that moment, Char and I, when we were editing, we heard stuff in the background. We didn't hear it when we were there, but we heard stuff in the background.
I heard it,
Yes.
but I thought that it was just kind of like, because it's not really a teaching hospital, but I mean,
It is a teaching
Oh, never mind. It is a teaching hospital. So I remember hearing, because everybody was waiting for Allie. Everyone wanted to meet. She was like the star of the place. So everybody was asking and helping. But I remember hearing, "Hey, we're at LB3, did you want to come in here?" And I just
They're
thought...
so nonchalant.
Yeah, they're so nonchalant, which is...
Sure, I'll be right there.
Yeah, so like I just thought teaching hospital, maybe they want to be a part of it, yada, yada, yada. We didn't realize, and then another lady, very properly dressed, came in.
It was interesting. Like, I don't know what her part was, but
I think she was the, I don't want to call her a manager, but I think she was like the head
I don't
person.
know. If something were to go wrong, I think that she was there for a specific reason. And then there was remember the other girl that came in?
Oh, the one
She was in scrubs, but I don't know what her point was.
Because she just came out of a C-section.
Yes.
Or somebody else's. That's why she was in scrubs
So
still.
there was things that were going on when she came out. I didn't see anything.
No, she breathed. She screamed for a little bit, and then went silent. So it was...
And then they put her on my chest, and she did a little scream. And then as we're paying attention to Indy, because it's such a beautiful moment, my OB was like, "Okay, so she had her cord wrapped around her neck pretty tight, but that's normal, 25% of babies."
Which, think about, 25% is not a normal number.
No, it's not. It's pretty small, but it's okay. And basically, it was because I pushed her so quickly, it kind of tightened as it was going. I was pushing her out, so she had a lot of fluid, the fluid from the sac within her chest.
Because when babies cry, they expel it.
And that's why they do that.
Yeah, that little
kind
thingy.
of thing.
Yeah.
She had her umbilical cord around her neck, so I had to undo it, but she's perfect.
Okay, good.
25% of babies are born like that. It doesn't hurt your head. Will you just put her foot?
Oh yeah, I put it there so it's okay.
We're just gonna keep your feet over here, Allie, so they don't go in the boot.
Happy birthday, friend.
Oh my god, that's so weird. You did phenomenal. Thank you.
I know, I'm sorry. Come on.
Come on, baby, come on, sweetie.
You can kind of see it in the video, they were trying to get it out.
Yeah,
And they
shaking
kept
her and
saying
doing
she
this.
was holding her breath, and I don't know if she was actually holding her breath or if this was just because
Yeah.
It's really hard to even talk about it, but if you like look at the video.
Yeah, when I came home, I know it's okay. Yeah, when I came home, I looked at the video and I told her right away, I was like, you don't want to watch this.
It didn't look like she was holding her breath.
No, she was purple.
She just might need a little, when you push that fast, sometimes they need a little extra. But she got all of her good blood, so I'm gonna cut it just in case we need to move her. Okay. Because you can't keep holding your breast sticker. You're gonna stress mommy and daddy out. We are cut before. Okay. Take her for a second. Okay. Yep. Just you gotta make her scream. Yeah.
And she was just like, it was just weird.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. And so I think there was points where maybe she was holding her breath, but there was also a point where I think she just could not breathe. Because it was like the weirdest thing ever. When I was looking at her and I kept looking at the nurse and looking at her and looking at the nurse and nobody was saying a word. Mm-hmm. It was eerie.
Yeah, I just remember one of the nurses going like this and doing this, and I was just thinking, it was 5.5 years since Remy was born, so I couldn't. Well, yeah, they were going like this and going like that, and it's been like it was at that point 5.5 years since Remy was born, so I couldn't really remember much because obviously our first kid, you kind of don't know what to look for. So when I saw him do that, I just thought maybe, like that's what they did with Remy. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think they usually do that to kind of like get them, like break up the stuff.
But Remy was
also
not purple.
No. And she kept turning purple and like real purple. And I just felt like you and I were both in such shock. Like I couldn't even look at you. Like I kept looking at her and I was like, this doesn't feel right, but I can't say anything. Like it was so weird. Like I was in such shock the words could not come out of my mouth.
And then after a while, they kept doing it, and then she finally started screaming.
Again.
And then they took her from you.
Yeah.
And they took her to the little way station.
Well, she stopped screaming again. So then they took her, and when they started walking over there, I heard her make another noise. And then that's when.
Then I ran over there to see what was going on.
And I was watching the whole time. And then you experienced what happened in this portion.
Well, yeah. Then they started doing. It is different.
No, it's scary, but she's good. She's good. Like we want everybody to know she's good. It's just really a scary moment to relive.
Yeah, and we didn't really want to relive it. We just wanted to talk because I feel like while 25% is small, there's still 25%
that this has happened to.
Yeah. So if you got 100 people, 25 people experience this. So it's.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girl was doing the same thing over there, and she kept taking all this suction stuff, turning her over, suction, going like that, and I'm just like, is this okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get all this stuff out, very nonchalant, and she's like doing all this, I don't know what it was. It looked like not a plunger, but like that little blue thing. It was a little bigger.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. She's putting on her side, going like that, sucking out from the side and all that, doing this, and eventually she got her to just start crying like crazy.
Yeah.
But it was terrifying.
It was a really scary experience and scary moment. And, it was like one of those things, like, obviously, I'm so thankful for the medical staff because it's just, one, the way that they kept their cool, I'm so thankful for.
And then at the end.
And they distracted me.
Yeah, they were distracting everybody. And I remember when they were fixing everything, getting everything back to normal, we got Indy over there, got her going, got her crying, then they brought it back to you. And then I remember being like, well, that's not fun. And then the nurse that's been helping the whole time, she goes, yeah, that wasn't my favorite part either. I'm like, holy
Nobody
crap.
liked it, but they were.
It's one of those things where I always compare things to like.
When you're on a plane.
On a plane, you see the stewardesses freaking out. Something's going on.
Yeah.
And like they were really good at not doing it until after.
But they were just very quiet. And that was like.
That's eerie.
It was so quiet, and I'm like.
They're all talking so much.
Oh my God, we talked so much. It was like, honestly, it was the best like labor experience of my, like, for both of our kids, it was just amazing. Like it was the best birth experience because the staff was just incredible. But, then, they comforted us, and she obviously came back to us. And one of the things that after you deliver, you go to obviously you go to a separate room, so they have the delivery room open. And we have like a new mom and baby nurse that comes in, and she knew what happened with her, and she's like, she's probably for the next 2 or 3 days she's gonna be coughing up the amniotic fluid. And
She was.
Char went home that night because I needed him to watch Remy.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep a wink because I was like, she kept gargling and choking, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like crazy. But they did reassure me, like, you know, babies, they usually like spit it out to the side or whatever, but if I see her do it, I have to help her get it out because it's not like spit up. It's like, it's almost like a foamy, when they are getting
Like
it
a
up,
mucus, like.
it's like mucusy, foamy, spitty kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really explain it, but it's just
It
a
freaked
different
me out for a while.
It's just the consistency that was coming from her. Now I don't know if this is like for everyone, but the consistency that was coming from her was it was like thick spit. Like that's the best way I could, but like bubbly and you know. And so it was like one of the scariest moments I think I've ever had.
It was just kind of watching it now is like an out of body experience because you're watching it.
And he was so good at being calm too.
Well, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, but you saved me because if you freaked out, I would have because I was freaking out.
I would have freaked out probably had I known it was going on.
Yeah,
like, I just didn't know what was going on.
Because I was terrified, but like the fact that you were like there and you were just kind of keeping it together and like, do you want me to go? And then I think that's when I kind of got really weirded out when like you were like, do you want me to go? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you should go.
Oh yeah,
And I was
say
like,
that, yeah.
I don't know. And I was trying not to tear up, and I don't know, you might have seen it in the video, like I got very teary-eyed at a point because I was just like, is she okay? Because I was afraid.
And
she
then
wasn't.
when I was over there talking to that nurse, that very formal lady was talking to me, and I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah. What did she talk to you about?
She was like, is everything okay? And like asking me stuff. It was a blur, but like
Yeah.
I think she was. I don't want to call it like to sound dramatic. I feel like she was like kind of a legal person.
Yeah.
To
I
make
think
sure
so, too.
oversee everything.
I think it was too.
So I
But-
think she was like a person that like, I hate to say malpractice stuff, but I feel like that's what she was there for.
Yeah.
And thinking about it now, like holy shit.
Yeah. But like I said, we had the best group of people during
And
the
she
delivery.
was number 475.
475 for my doctor, and she was great. And I'm telling you, it was like literally the best experience. I mean, despite that,
Despite the
very end, because I was
Well,
shocked.
not the end, but
you know what I'm saying. That portion,
the
the
comma,
small portion,
whatever
yes.
yeah.
First, I was in shock that she came out so quick. Secondly, the staff just made everything so much better for me. I went into this nervous, but they made me so comfortable. It was just so. It was
I
such
think
a
I was more
wonderful-
comfortable because of the fact that we've gone through that part.
Yeah.
I was not comfortable with her because
No,
I
I
had
was.
no idea what this
I was so scared too.
Yeah.
But it was like even the pain, like for me this time, like don't get me wrong, I felt it all. I felt everything down below, everything. But I taught myself how to breathe through it differently this time. Mentally, I think I was a little bit
Yeah,
stronger.
you never did those Lamaze classes
Nope.
either way.
But I did pretty good with the
Yeah,
breathing this
you
time
did
around.
good.
I mentally got in this state of mind where I was so much more confident, and I think that made a huge difference. Was like the confidence for me.
Yeah.
And just being around really good people, like really good people that make you feel confident. I don't know if you guys followed before this, but one of the biggest things I kept saying to Char is like, I don't want a crazy
Yeah.
story for this baby. I don't want a
Don't wanna
crazy
be at
story.
Disney.
Don't
We're
want
like,
to
don't wanna
give birth at Disney. Don't want the hurricane.
Hurricane. When
all
we were
these
young,
things.
didn't want me to
Yeah.
go when I was overseas.
Or in the car, like driving home or whatever. We kept saying that, and then of course she said, "Guess what?
I'm gonna do it a different way.
You're gonna get a crazy birth story." But good news is she's great.
When Remy came, remember she did spit out thing, and Remy was trying to help too.
Remy's awesome. She's been great with her. I think it was just a very, very scary moment, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, but everything turned out
Everything's fine. I mean,
wonderful.
she's right there.
Yep,
Sleeping, passed out.
And our little family of 4 is thriving and surviving.
Exactly. So yeah.
It's a little longer than we planned, but we want to kind of tell you guys our experience and, you know, kind of give you a little bit more details of like
Yeah.
what happened.
And if you guys were one of the 25 and 100 or 25%, please let us know.
Hug your parents too.
That was our story.
We made it through.
We made it.
He's like, I don't know if I could ever have another kid after that.
No, I'm just like.
And I was like, I
that's
could.
That's
I literally,
terrifying.
the doctor was like, I hope you don't hate me after this. I'm like, it's the best birth experience ever. I'm like, I could totally do it again. And he looked at me, he's like, not me right now.
Yep.
Wink,
Stress
wink.
level, gray coming out. But anyway, guys, we will see you in the next video.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. Lots of fun things are coming out.
Bye.
Bye.